everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm the City Witch. So today we're going to be doing a review and unboxing of this new tarot deck I got my hands on. So I am a massive fan of the Labyrinth. I have all the graphic novels, the comics, the artwork, teddy bears, pop figurines, you name it, I've got it. I'm a super big fan of Labyrinth and of the Dark Crystal as well. So when I found out they were doing a tarot deck inspired by the Labyrinth, and you know that Brian Freud was going to be involved in this, I was super excited and I just had to get my hands on it. So it says on the front, Jim Henson's Labyrinth Tarot Deck and Guidebook. First impressions of the box are quite good. First of all, it's really sturdy and hard, and you can see it's quite thick as well, so your cards are going to be very well protected in this box. The artwork style isn't what I expected, if I'm honest. I kind of thought that the style was going to be similar to that of the movie. However, I really like this old-fashioned kind of drawn style they've done it. It's a really nice aesthetic. The Labyrinth sign here is embossed, so when you run your finger over it, it's slightly raised. It's also got this very shiny, smooth kind of texture to it, whereas the rest of the box is a matte finish. This deck is created by Titan Books. The artwork is by Thomas Higio. I think I'm saying that right, Higio. And it says words by Minerva Segal and a foreword by Brian Freud. So that's really nice. And then on the back of the box, you can see they've decorated it with the Labyrinth pattern around the edging, which is quite nice. And again, you've got this slightly embossed bit here, so the cards are kind of shiny and smooth, and then the rest of the box is a matte finish. So it says on the back of the box, discover the secrets of the Labyrinth with this official tarot deck inspired by Jim Henson's cult classic film starring David Bowie, featuring Sarah, Jareth, Hoggle and more as classic tarot characters in the original illustrations. This deck also includes a foreword from Brian Freud, artist and producer of the original film. Includes a fully illustrated 78 card deck and 128 page guidebook, and it's also got the Jim Henson signature, so you know that this was approved by him and his studios. So very nice. So first impressions are quite wonderful. Don't know what the cards are going to look like yet, but now we're going to have a look and see what they are like. So I'm super excited, guys. Ta-da! So the inside of the box is plain, first of all. The edging on the side of the main box carries on that Labyrinth theme all the way around. And then we first see the guidebook. So the guidebook straight away is really nice. I like the aesthetic. There's one of the door knockers on the back. Wow. So I really like what they've done. So you can see the Labyrinth theme carrying on in the book from the box. So we get a foreword from Brian Freud right at the front, and then you get an introduction. Then we get understanding your tarot deck, and then the major arcana, and then the minor, I'm assuming. And then we have tarot readings at the back. So we get caring for your deck. I like it when authors add that in because they all have their own spin and take on dealing with your deck and how to cleanse it and work with it. So it's nice to read those sections and get some new inspirational ideas. Then we get preparing to read tarot. Things aren't what they seem. Ooh, interesting. So the masquerade, the goblin and wisdom. So that's kind of like some guidance. So it says sometimes situations are more complicated than they initially appear. There can be a lot of unseen elements under the surface. This tarot spread is designed to provide clarity by revealing the true nature of a situation. Ooh, I like that. That may very well be my first spread that I try in this deck. Then we have you have no power over me. Oh, I like that. That gave me chills. I can hear Sarah there saying that. You have no power over me. Very nice. And then we have the door knockers conundrum. Ooh, nice. And then do we have any more? And then we have about the author, about the illustrator, and then some information about Titan Books at the back. So that is the guidebook. I'm not going to show the cards because I want to obviously show you the deck now instead of from the book. So I'll just pop that to one side for a moment. So here we have the deck. So we have a nice ribbon to be able to pull the deck out really easily. And for those who are fans, you'll recognise the stripy inner of the box matches little Toby's pyjamas. Let's move that to one side. So first impressions of the back, I like that. That's the shield. I don't know if you guys are fans of the movie like I am, but that is the shield where you've got two faces that come out the inside. One tells the truth and the other one lies, and it's all about manipulation and tactics, and they play tricks. And Sarah obviously falls prey to their tricks, goes through the wrong door, and yeah, ends up struggling with helping hands. I do like that. That's really nice. And again, you know, you guys know me by now. I like to not know whether it's the right way or not. That's not too easy to figure out whether it is upside down or not. Eventually I may figure that out. I'm assuming that this is right way at the moment. So blue would indicate that that's the right way. Turning upside down would indicate that the red means it's upside down. But as time goes on, you know, it's quite a simple pattern. I probably won't focus on that too much, so I'm okay with that background. I prefer it when I can't tell because I do like my decks to be mixed so that I can't actually tell. Now let's have a look at the cards. So the first card we get is the Fool. It makes sense that it's Sarah because obviously she makes a lot of foolish mistakes. So I kind of do understand why she is the Fool. Not too traditional there in that she's obviously, you know, surrounded by dark clouds and rain. This is the scene from the very first part of the movie where she's running to get home. She's being completely drenched in her outfit. So not really a traditional look at the Fool, but I'm okay with that because I understand why she's foolish, and knowing the movie, I can apply all of the same energies as a Fool to that very easily. So for experienced tarot readers, I do think this would be quite an easy deck to read. The Magician is Jareth. It makes perfect sense. He is the Goblin King after all. They've gone for quite a dark themed look there as well, but I like that. The High Priestess. Ooh, very interesting. It's one of the goblin characters. The Empress is Sarah's mother. Again, they've gone for quite a dark look there where she looks kind of mean and, you know, she's got that sort of foreboding energy, whereas the Empress is usually, you know, representing fertility, you know, is that maiden going into mother energy, whereas this doesn't give me that impression with the Empress. It kind of just gives me the impression that she is that controlling, commanding mother. So that's an interesting look. The Emperor is Sarah's father. Hierophant is Hoggle. That makes perfect sense. Oh, the Dancers. That's interesting. So we do have, by the looks of it, a few cards that have been renamed. So then we have the Chariot. Again, it makes perfect sense. Strength, again, the Guardian for the Gate. I agree with that completely. That is a great choice. The Hermit. Yeah, well, he represents wisdom and he does give Sarah some advice. Not that she thinks it's very good, but I can see why they chose him as the Hermit. And again, I think that's a really good choice. The Wheel of Fortune. This is a good one as well. Here she draws lipstick on the floor, and then these little creatures underneath the floor keep turning them. So when she thinks she's gone a certain way, she's getting all mixed up and confused because the arrows have been turned. So this is definitely about being turned around. I can definitely see patterns, seasons and cycles coming into play with this, and obviously misdirection. So that is very good for the Wheel. Justice, we have Helping Hands. Again, that's a really good one as well. Oh, the Hanged Man. Oh, Ludo. I love that. That is so cute. Fate. So this one's Jareth, and he's in disguise and pretending to be somebody else. And again, you know, that's been renamed. Then we have Temperance, and this is the Door Knockers. The Demon, so obviously this is replacing the Devil card, and again makes perfect sense because they are trickster spirits. Then we have the Tower, and it's Jareth's castle. The Star is the teddy bear, which I believe she calls Sir Lancelot in the movie. And then we have the Moon. That's interesting. So with the Moon, it's an apple where someone's took a bite out of it. Oh no, it's not an apple, sorry, it's the peach. It's the peach from the movie. So she's given a peach, and the peach actually sends her into a dreamlike state. So again, illusion, fantasy, matching perfectly with the Moon. I like that. I know I said apple, it looked like an apple at first. I think I was thinking about, you know, the big apple, someone taking a bite out of it. So then we have the Sun card. Again, it makes sense because we've got little Toby there in his pajamas and he's all happy and smiling. Judgment. So this is what I was saying before. When you look at the back of the card, that there comes from these characters here. And one set of them lie and one set of them tell the truth. And they give you a puzzle to solve. You're supposed to figure out who's lying and who's telling the truth, so that you don't get tricked or deceived. Then we have the World, and for that they've used Jareth's Labyrinth, which is interesting. I guess that's his whole world, and all the characters are in some form of, you know, they're lost, or, you know, they are making their homes within this labyrinth as best they can under the rule of the king, which is the Goblin King. So it looks like here we're going into the suits now. So we have poles, King of Poles. So I'm assuming this is replacing wands. So we have the Queen of Poles. The Knight of Poles. Page of Poles. The Ace of Poles. Three, 4 of poles, 5 poles. So they've gone for quite a plain look with the suits. 6 of poles and 7 of poles. Kind of reminds me of the way they did the Supernatural deck, where some of the cards were quite plain looking like this, and some of them were decorative. So we've got Junk as another suit. I wonder if Junk is representative of coins, so the earthy element. So we've got King of Junk, which is the little worm. Queen of Junk, which is the old hag that collects everything and hoards. Knight of Junk. The Page of Junk. And the Ace of Junk, which is kind of a makeshift spoon. And 2 of Junk. And 3 of Junk. The 4 of Junk, and the 5 of Junk, Six of Junk, and the 7 of Junk, 8 of Junk, and the 9 of Junk, 10 of Junk. Now we're going into feathers. Okay, so with this one we're going with Jareth in his owl formation as the King of Feathers. Then we've got Queen of Feathers, which is the fairies that bit Sarah at the beginning of the movie. Then we've got the Knight of Feathers, this little dude that's inside the character they've used for the Strength card, which is the big kind of giant obelisk. And then we've got the Page of Feathers. And the Ace of Feathers. Oh, he looks so cute. And then we've got 2 of feathers. What I find interesting about that one is you can see that the artist has kind of put his name there, like his signature, I guess. I've got 3 of feathers, 4 of feathers, 5 of feathers, 6 of feathers, 7 of feathers, 8 of feathers. Some of the cards are still stuck together. 9 of feathers, and the 10 of feathers. And then we go on to pots. So pots must be replacing chalices. So if I'm right and the the poles are wands, perhaps the feathers is replacing swords then. So this would be replacing chalices. So this is your watery element. So we have King of Pots, and then we have the Queen of Pots. Can't say that's a character, I recognise that one. So I wonder if that one's made up. The Knight of Pots, which we do recognise with the cannon. And this dude we definitely recognise because he misfired and he jumped around going ow, 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 ow in the movie. So that's the Page of Pots. And then we have the Ace of Pots. 2 of Pots. The 3 of Pots. 4 of Pots. The 5 of Pots. 6 of Pots. 7 of Pots. 8 of Pots. 9 of Pots, and the last card, the 10 of Pots. So that is the entire deck. Okay, so let's just see if I am correct, see if it will give a little meaning. So, the 4 suits are poles, junk, feathers and pots, which represent the traditional tarot suits of wands, pentacles, swords and cups. So poles are wands, which is what I guessed. Junk is pentacles, so I got that correct as well. Feathers are swords and cups are the pots are the cups. So yeah, I got all of the guesses correct. So an experienced reader definitely could read this really easily. However, a new practitioner just starting out trying to learn a tarot deck, I can imagine this would be quite difficult. I mean, if you're looking at something like that, if you were reading a Rider-Waite tarot, obviously it'd be very symbolic, there'd be a lot of artwork on that, and it'd be very easy for you to know what that card was referring to. Now, as an experienced reader, obviously we know what the cards mean, we've been reading for a very long time, and we've memorised a lot of the cards, so it doesn't really matter what the artwork looks like, you know straight away what the cards represent. But for a new practitioner trying to learn tarot, you know, looking at a card like that, you may have to refer to the guidebook quite a bit to get a feel of the energy and what that card's going to represent, because symbolically it offers you nothing, it doesn't give you any information looking at that card. So I can see a lot of people referring to the guidebook. Let's have a look at what the cards look like. So in the guidebook, this is what you're going to get. So you're going to get a full colour image of the card. So we're looking at the Hermit at the moment. You get a description of the Hermit. So it says the Hermit, like the wise man, is a solitary, introverted figure who spends a significant amount of time reflecting deeply on life. Then you get an upright meaning and a reversed meaning. So it's going to be your choice whether you choose to have your cards mixed, some the right way and some in a reverse position. Now I do like, you know, to have both in my deck. I like to reverse some of them. That's how I read. But not everybody does. Some people just prefer to keep them all upright. And I can imagine to begin with this deck, you know, keeping all the cards in an upright position probably is going to be easier than adding, you know, another set of meaning to your cards, because obviously, you know, that has a meaning that way, and then the minute you reverse it, you've got a whole different set of meanings. So my advice, if you were starting out and you were getting this deck, would be to spend some time studying and learning it, spend some time researching Rider-Waite and obviously looking at the meaning of the cards in order to understand what the planar cards that you get in this deck would mean. That would make it a lot easier for you guys. Overall, I would say that the deck is really nice. The card stock quality is quite bendy and it's got this matte finish. However, I think it's really good quality. Like I think if I bend it right over, I'm going to damage the card, but you know, that's pretty flexible, but I don't feel like that's weak or thin at all. I think that's a nice quality. It's the kind of quality I like in my decks anyway, where I can shuffle them really easily, how I want, like a set of playing cards without too much trouble, because if they're too stiff, I think you struggle to shuffle them. I will say they stuck together quite a lot, so I'm hoping that as I shuffle them more over time, they won't stick so much at the side. That could be the way they've been cut by a machine. The side of them is plain, so they are not foiled or coated in any way. Although if you guys want to use some ink, you could easily ink that up with some gold if you wanted, which would give a really nice finish, I think, to this deck. The cards are average tarot size, so they're not too big or anything in my hands. They fit quite comfortably like a regular deck would, and I really like the colour and the artwork. So overall, I would probably score this probably about a 7 out of 10. I would give it a higher mark, however they have chosen to do really plain-ish cards like that, which is going to make it difficult for a new beginner practitioner just learning tarot for the first time. So this wouldn't be a recommended deck for a first timer. However, for a more experienced practitioner, someone who's been at it for a few years and is starting to get the hang of it, definitely this would be a good one to challenge yourself and see if you can memorize the cards and if you know what the card is as soon as it comes up. So this would definitely be sort of an intermediate to advanced tarot deck to work with. However, if you're a fan of Labyrinth and it's just something you want to have in your collection, go for it. I think it's a really nice addition. They've definitely really thought about it, which I like, and it's approved by the Jim Henson Studios, which is another plus in my opinion. And that's it, that's my review, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, click the bell so YouTube will tell you when my next video comes out. If you'd like me to conduct a reading for you, or if you'd like to book any of my witchcraft services, you can do that through Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, and all the links are in the description of the video. And I've provided my email address for those who wish to email me. And if you'd like to offer light and love to my channel, you can do that by supporting me through Patreon, and again, the link is in the description, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Blessed be.